Part of my reading recently has been this book, The Lies We Believe by Chris Thurman. I reread it during the summer, started going through the workbook with a couple of friends, and then found out that the author, Chris, who lives here in Austin, Texas, by the way, has come out with his 30th anniversary edition. It's a completely revised and updated. And I posted it, a picture of the new book. Read something this morning, going back through. By the way, I'm camping out in a few books, and about 3-4 different authors have been the past 4 or 5 months, just focusing more, trying not to get too diversified in what I'm reading, what I'm studying, reading or listening to, and going through some materials by Paul Martinelli, books by Neil Anderson, and Chris Thurman. Chris says in chapter 1, God will never force us to think the right thoughts or stop thinking the wrong ones. The choice is always ours, and each time we decide what to think, we are choosing to walk into either darkness or light. We make a lot of choices. I have a list of, I think it's laying over on my desk over there. It's 13 choices that I read through. And it's just something I've been working on for the past few years. Those choices I realize need to mature along the way. But here's what Chris says at the end of chapter 1. Think on these things. All of us struggle with viewing reality in ways that are misaligned with God's view. How do you think you have had a distorted view of reality, and what have the spiritual, psychological, and relational costs been? Number 2, in this chapter, he says we covered 5 sources of lies we believe. Our upbringing, the world we live in, the things we are taught in church, our fallen bent to distort reality, and the father of lies. Which of these deadliest beliefs came from each of these sources? And number 3, how are you doing when it comes to facing and accepting that life is difficult? Sometimes I think life's a bitch. Anyway, he says, how are you doing when it comes to facing and accepting that life is difficult, that you are not to run from legitimate suffering but to experience it, that you are to have compassion for yourself and others as you take life on day to day, and that you are to work out your mental salvation over time as you renew your mind with God's help. Boy, I like that about that we're not to run from legitimate suffering. So many times we try to run from, I know I've tried to just run from the struggle. I've tried to get out of the struggle, and I've wasted struggles. And those struggles I've wasted have come back at me. Have a great day.